Hello and welcome, Inspired Podcast community. This is your new episode. My name is Caroline, and my today's guest is Ethan Heisey. And I'm so happy that he said yes to our interview. How are you doing today?
Well, I'm glad to be here, and thank you for letting me join. I've been listening to your podcast, and my employees have been listening to your podcast. My friends, we love the good work that you're doing. So, if anyone here is listening today, just make sure you like, comment, subscribe, whatever platform you're on, because this information that she's sharing here definitely needs to get out.
Oh, thank you so much for saying this. It's all about leadership, taking courageous decisions as well. But we want to know more about you, of course. And I would like to introduce you to the audience. Yes. You walked away from traditional financial advising after realizing that the biggest threat to wealth isn't bad investing, it's unchecked taxation. Now you connect high earners with advanced strategies that legally reduce their tax burden, challenging the way we think about money, control, and financial intelligence. Welcome to the Inspired Podcast. Wow, Ethan. I see.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much. Yeah, we found
Thank
it. It's a big deal. If you can help somebody save on taxes, that's just less money or more money that they can essentially keep in their pocket to then take and invest it back into their portfolio, their investments. I was going over this with a client earlier today, and we've discovered that um, he pays $100,000 in taxes every year, and we said, wow, if we could save even just 25% of that every year, that's 25 grand back in your pocket. And we ran a simulation. If he saves, he's already saving 2,000 a month. So if he could save 2,000, that's 24K a year, plus the 25,000 that we freed up for him, he's just doubled his savings, and compounding interest over time, he's going to triple the amount of net worth that he has by doing saving on taxes first and then investing his money after that. So that's the power of making sure you keep the most amount of money in your pocket in your financial journey.
Yes. So, as far as I understood, it's not about earning more in the first place, it's about keeping and saving the money you already have.
That's huge. Yeah, if you can keep more money, you're more. I mean, and that's the same thing in business because a lot of us here are running businesses, and it's you could have $1 million of revenue, but if you have no money, no profit, it's not what you make; it's what you keep. We all know that saying. That's where it's more fun. Now I can actually go live and do things with my money rather than just sending it out to expenses. So we, at least in our business too, we try to stay profitable. We always maintain a certain level of profitability when we calculate it. But you're right. Same thing with not only your business but your personal business, which is your income you pay yourself and run your finances as a business so you can keep profitable, therefore invest in things you want to invest into, go on the vacations you want to, and you're not just poofing the money away into the air and it becomes vapor.
Yes, that's so true. That sounds also like fun and more freedom.
Maybe you're playing on words, but the name of our company is Exponential Freedom, and right behind me, we have freedom. So, and that's what it comes about. You want freedom of life. You want, and really, a lot of times, and I always argue, money is one of the most important things besides God, besides family. Maybe there's one or two things, but money's right up there after those. Because if you don't have it, you can't eat, can't pay your bills, you can't give to charities, you can't give a legacy when you pass away. So you got to be very wise, frugal with your money, because if you are, now you're putting yourself in a position that's thought through. Run the stress test scenarios. If the worst case scenario happens, I'm going to do XYZ. Best case scenario happens, I'll do this. So you want to know both scenarios and you protect yourself from the downside and the upside. So freedom is the mindset, and you can get there faster. And the freedom. What is freedom? A lot of times our clients they desire the ability to save money or make enough money so that one day they have the option to not have to work. I don't always say retire because maybe we're not, I don't, as human beings, I don't believe we're just going to sit around and do nothing with our lives. Most of the people that do that, they just kind of fizzle out. And, for the majority of people, they just kind of I mean, a lot of them just kind of dwindle and their mental capacity goes away because there's no use of their mind anymore. So the definition of retire versus, just being financially free, we want to build a life where we are only working because we want to, not because we have to. And what you'll find is when you're working because you want to, a lot of times you're happier. You're actually putting the right energy into what you're working on, and what you're building could be more valuable because it's the right energy going into it. Uh, but yeah, that's what I would
Absolutely.
say.
So you explained the difference between retirement and financial freedom. And I'm also very happy that you introduced the word frugal. I did not know that exists also in the English language, of course, but you are the first of out of 1,100 guests almost that use this word. And I'm very happy about this. Yes, it's a lifestyle, definitely, and you
Mhm.
help your clients so beautifully. So I prepared more questions for you, of course. So many people accept taxes as just the way it is. Where does that mindset come from, and how does it quietly limit financial freedom?
I don't know if I'm going to answer it the right way, but what I would say is I think people oftentimes just pay because they don't want to get into trouble with the law. That's either option A, or option two, they're paying more than they can because they're not aware of what's actually out there. Like they might be, most people have a CPA if they're not doing their taxes by themselves. You can go on websites like TurboTax or other tax softwares, but the next level is actually hiring someone to do it for you, so you can pay them 500 to $1,000, whatever their fee might be, to save you time. But a CPA or an enrolled agent or someone who's just allowed to file your tax, the fee that you're paying them really isn't for strategy, isn't for knowledge on how to save more than what you could be saving. You're paying them to just do a job. The definition of CPA is certified public accountant. They know how to account. So you're going to come to them with the things that you've already done for the year. They're going to look at them and say, this is what we're going to file with the things you've already done. Well, your first mistake in that scenario was you should have been planning the entire year on what you should be doing this year in the current tax year, not coming to your CPA after the year, right before the deadline and saying, here's what I've done. Please run some magic. And it's not, it just doesn't work like that. It's the law. This is how it is, and this is what you can do. But on the flip side, it's good that the law is written down because all we need to do is just read the law book, which our tax attorneys on my team do. You can look at the law book and say, oh, inside the law, all we have to do is XYZ and we can lower our tax bill. So you need to find somebody that's going to give you advice, mentorship, who has a good track record of successfully lowering their clients' tax bills. And if you ask the person who's going to file for you, what are you going to do for me? And they can't tell you what they're going to do except I'm just going to file your tax. That might not be the best person to work with. You want to find someone just like, I'll give you an example. I'm assuming you have bought a car before.
Yes,
A lot of people have. Most people didn't buy the first car that they looked for. Same thing when you hire an employee, or same thing when you hire a contractor to do something for you. In this case, your tax bill. I'm not going to go to the first CPA. I want to interview people so I can look to see who's going to align with my morals, who's going to align with who do I just enjoy talking to. Sometimes that's worth it. Just talking with someone you like hanging out with. But I also want to talk to someone who says, here's what I'm going to do for you. Because we don't have the knowledge. At least the average client doesn't know what the laws are saying. You need to have someone come to you and saying, here's my plan for you. I'm going to lower your tax bill this year by 50%. We're going to do some tax credits. We're going to do some bonus depreciation and do this little tweak in your portfolio. And if I can't save you on taxes, I won't charge you anything. You just need confidence that person's actually going to do a good job for you. Because if you don't have confidence in them, what are you doing? So same thing, just like you're buying a car or buying anything, interview some people, see who's the best fit. Don't Because that could be the difference of millions of dollars of lost opportunity cost over time. So I'll go back to you.
I love your answer. Thank you so much. And what you didn't know is, yet is that I exchanged my accounting company for being a podcast host. So I know exactly what you are talking about. But in Germany, it is separated between, so the accountants cannot do taxes, and there are the tax consultants, they create. So I would talk about creative accounting, and this is forbidden for like mechanical account, we call it in Germany, but I know what you are talking about, and I love that so much. So people are not aware of it, and they are ignorant as well. And when they buy the first car, they see sometimes it's not the best or the best fit.
Mm-hmm. Millions of people in America are doing that. Uh, and I mean, and from your experience, and I love that you have that background. So we saw that too because I came from as I was a financial advisor previously, but people were coming out of order. They were coming to me with money that they already had, but I was like, well, what if you could free up taxes and then bring more to me? It just made more sense to free up on tax. So we then reached out to CPAs who just file, and then that wasn't really doing the trick. So we had to go find like tax attorneys, lawyers in tax law, or mitigation firms or strategist firms. And then what we did was we built a team. So on our team, we have a tax attorney, CPA, financial advisor, business consultant, a bunch of smart people with multiple designations. So people come to us and they say, here's my problem. I'm a business owner and I make $400K a year. I live in California, so my tax bill is really high. And they give us all the information. I send it to my planning team. And then my planning team comes back with a bunch of ideas and suggestions on these tweaks and things that we can do. And it's so fun because we're changing the trajectory of people's financial lives. When they come to us, we have a value that's so great that now they can leave so much more money to their family and their legacy, or they can finally donate to the charities they always said they were going to do, but they never did. Things like that. And,
Oh, I
and
love that.
go ahead.
With the donations to give back about what you are saving. And I also created the Inspired Choice Foundation. So this is my legacy. And it makes sense. Okay, my next question for you is, there's a fine line between optimization and avoidance. How do you define ethical responsibility when it comes to minimizing taxes?
That's a good point. The worst thing you could do is get in trouble with the law. So we don't ever want. Oh, we made the decision as a tax firm that we don't play in gray areas. So we don't even want to mess with that. Like, could you, like, as an example, as a business owner, could you write off every single lunch you have for the next year because you and your wife talk about business in quotation marks? Well, it's a gray area. Technically, maybe you could get away with it, but most likely not too. We want to stay away from those things. So we like to look at historical results. Has this particular deduction proven the test of time? Has it passed if there was ever a random audit? Has it passed audits? Does it cause red flags? And if you ask yourself those questions, even though the average person coming to us doesn't have the knowledge, because they are trusting us that we're not going to guide them into something wrong. And that's a lot of privilege. That client's going to come to me and say, I don't know anything. Just promise me we're going to be okay and save me on tax. And that's our job. So they're trusting us. And to tell my clients, we don't have clients get audited. We don't cause red flags. It's a very good and powerful thing, and it makes me happy to say that.
Oh, thank you so much for sharing. Yes, this is also all about conscious business ethics. This,
Yes.
yeah, and I would like to know, of course, where can we find you when people want to reach out to you after listening to this episode?
If you just go to my website, you can feel free to send me some contact info for anyone. And I didn't tell you I was going to do this, but I just feel that it's the right thing to do. So normally, our average client to even work with us has to make 400,000 of income. But just for your listeners, if they want to go onto my website www.theexponentialfreedom.com, if they just fill out that form, I'll personally speak with you and give you some advice for free. Even if you don't hit our minimum income limit, we'll just help you out. But I'll probably only last it for maybe a few months from when this podcast released for time's sake, because I don't want to go crazy. But that is something that we're willing to do. No charge, just come and we'll give you some tips. So that's I want to do that for your listeners.
Oh, thank you so much. This is so generous. I didn't expect this, of course, and I really enjoy our episode, of course. I have one last question for you. It is about your goals. Do you set goals for yourself or intentions, and what is one of your next projects?
Absolutely. Goals are interesting because I feel like they're changing often, at least for me. I mean, my my original goal was to have a business where I could just pay my bills. That was it. And now we have over 3,000 clients. A lot of them repeat buy. So we're doing a lot more successful than I would have ever imagined my first year in business. I know we're not going to stop here, and I'd love to impact. Right now, we're focusing on the United States. That's because we know the laws here. So our goal is to really impact as many people as we can here, and we're on our way. We're in the process of hiring more advisors. We're hiring more employees. It's getting really exciting. So we've got some really big milestones on some income levels that we want to hit, and it's very for me. It just blows my mind that we're now in the position to be thinking about those levels of income, whereas before we were trying to barely break six figures, getting into the seven-figure range, and now we're on our way into the eights and nines as we speak today.
Yeah, there was a wise man who said, help enough people to reach their goals and you will reach yours. Something.
I love that. Who
This
was
is
that?
what you do.
I wonder.
I
I
don't
don't
know.
remember who said that, but it's true. If you help enough people, and that's why
Mm.
business really isn't that hard. All you need to do is find a problem, something that someone doesn't know how to do, or they don't have time to do. And 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 I always tell people you don't have to be the smartest person in the world. All you have to do is just get what you know in front of enough people, and someone's gonna work with you. It's not rocket science. I didn't make straight A's in college or go in school. I got A's and B's. But what I've learned is you could be the smartest person in the world, the best product, but if no one knows about it, you won't have any revenue. So our number one focus right now is, how do we create an amazing customer experience? And we do that on such a good level now. We don't even ask. Referrals just come to us and they just say, "Hey, speak to all my friends and all my family," and that's where we want to be. We don't even have to put money into marketing because it just spreads like wildfire when you do little things. Like last week, we had a client that loves hockey, and we found that out about him when we mailed him a Team USA hat from the hockey team. Mailed it to him. He opened it up and said, "Thank you so much." Sent me an amazing text. I love working with you guys. You're the best ever. So, as business owners, if you're thinking about this, create the amazing experience, because that alone is going to speak louder than maybe any dollars you put on the social media. It's about what the raging fans saying to all of their friends and family. He did that. He's not even um, in this field, but he did this. You want them. You want to go above and beyond, and that's what we're creating right now. Is the most amazing experience for our people.
I love what you said about the noise and the success. I heard it before, work in silence and let the success be the noise or something. And I think the quote from before was Zig Ziglar saying this about help enough people reach their goals or something. Thank you so much for our interview. I learned so much. Yes, and please reach out to Ethan. And now it's time for your final thought to the audience, please.
Putting pressure. The final thought's supposed to be powerful.
Yes.
Oh man. All right. Here we go. I got one. I'm sure someone today listening to this podcast, I know people are listening to this, but tune in, stop whatever you're doing real fast, and listen to what I'm going to say. If you have a dream in your head, don't be afraid to do it. Do it. That's all I need to say. You were given that dream, that idea. If you believe in God, I do. It was given to you for a reason. And if He gave that to you, that's for a special purpose. And you were the one designed to go and execute on it. So don't have fear. You need to fulfill your purpose. So that's what I would say.
Absolutely. Fear not. I love your spirit, your message. And yeah, I love this episode. Thank you so much for being my guest today.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
See you in the next episode.